The world knew Clara as a paragon of devotion, the brilliant and beautiful CEO who, in 7 days, was set to marry me, a man who couldn't see the adoration in her eyes. It was a story that captivated the public, a tale of genuine love that made me the envy of millions. When I finally told her that my sight had returned, she had enveloped me in a tight embrace, her tears of joy soaking my shoulder. To celebrate, she orchestrated a fleet of drones to paint a glittering galaxy across the night sky just for me. Beneath that artificial cosmos, she had sworn her eternal loyalty, whispering that we would become the most envied couple in the world. I had forced a smile, echoing her words. Someday. But for us, there was no someday. To commemorate my recovery, Clara had purchased an entire cruise ship, inviting a constellation of society's brightest stars for a lavish party on the open water. A nearby caretaker, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and jealousy, leaned in to tell me how truly blessed I was to have a woman like her. From across the deck, I watched Clara, a vision in a deep V mermaid gown, holding her wine glass with an effortless grace as she moved through the crowd of guests. She was stunning. I turned back to the caretaker and replied, my voice even, yes, she loves me as if her life depended on it. And her love had been a truly moving force. It was Clara who had donated her kidney to me back in college, defying her family's wishes when mine began to fail. It was that history that compelled me, 5 years ago, to rush into a burning building to save her when she was trapped. The thick, acrid smoke had stolen my eyesight, but it hadn't mattered. We had just gotten our marriage certificate, and the wedding was planned, but the incident forced us to postpone it indefinitely. For 5 long years, my world was a suffocating darkness, and Clara's guilt was a palpable presence. She would often weep in the dead of night, whispering that she would be my eyes from then on. She spared no expense, pouring her energy and fortune into finding a top doctor who could heal me, even offering to give me her own eyes if it were possible. I used to believe her love was an unshakable truth. If anyone had suggested she was being unfaithful, I would have dismissed them as a lunatic. I believed that right up until a month ago, when the recurring nightmare of her with her lover, Julian, in the bed right next to me, became a waking reality. She had no idea that my sight had returned months ago. I continued the charade, feigning blindness because the disappointment hadn't yet fully crystallized into resolve. I needed to see her betrayal with my own 2 eyes, to let the image burn away any lingering affection so I could finally let go. A reporter, live streaming the event, intercepted her. Clara, we heard this cruise ship was purchased specifically for Leo. Is that true? Clara's gaze found mine from across the deck, her eyes overflowing with a practiced affection. Yes, she said, her voice carrying across the crowd. My husband went blind, saving me from a fire. I promised him that when he recovered, we would watch the stars and the sea together. The crowd erupted in applause, their faces glowing with admiration for what they saw as the ultimate love story. She looked at me, her expression tender, and I met her gaze with a placid smile. She believed I was moved by her answer, but she couldn't see the cold resolve solidifying deep within my eyes. Afraid she might sense the shift in my gaze, I turned away and took a sip of red wine, the bitterness on my tongue a perfect mirror for the ache in my heart. Another guest posed a question. Clara, why is the ship named Juliana's Dream? Is there a special meaning? At the mention of that name, my hand trembled, and red wine sloshed over the rim of my glass, staining the pristine deck. Clara shot me a look laced with guilt before composing herself. This is a sea cruise, she answered calmly. Juliana is a name that signifies youth and beauty, so it's about a beautiful dream of the sea. My husband has always loved the ocean, saying our hearts should be as wide as the ocean, accepting of everything. Another wave of applause followed. I had indeed said one's heart should be as open as the sea, but I wondered if betrayal was something worthy of that acceptance. While everyone's attention was fixed on Clara, I slipped away to a quiet corner of the ship and dialed a number. Director Evans, it's Leo. I agree to join the Arctic scientific expedition. The voice on the other end of the line was excited. Leo, it's great you've decided. The country truly needs your talents. We've been watching your research for years. He paused, his tone growing serious. You've always said you would consider it, but you know the conditions in the Arctic are extreme. The weather is unpredictable, and the mission is years long with no contact with the outside world. Are you absolutely certain about this? My own voice was firm, leaving no room for doubt. I request permission to join. He sighed, a sound of reluctant agreement. This is a confidential matter. Your wedding is in a week. How will you explain this to Clara? A bitter smile touched my lips. If I was planning to leave her forever, what was there to explain? Perhaps if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be able to treat life and death so lightly, or choose such a perilous path. On our wedding day, when she found me nowhere, how would she feel? Betrayal, I thought, deserved its punishment. Director, I have one request. Declare me lost at sea. All right, he said. Time is tight. 7 days from now, be at the rendezvous point. I'll send the details later. After hanging up, a profound sense of relief washed over me. I felt lighter than I had in years. I casually lit a cigarette, the smoke curling into the salty air. Just then, I heard her voice calling my name. Darling, I've been looking everywhere for you. Clara appeared, looking frazzled, her relief at finding me evident. I remembered a time before, when my phone had died, and she, unable to reach me, had offered a massive reward to anyone who could locate me. The memory had filled me with happiness for a month straight. Now, seeing her worried face, I just felt a deep, hollow numbness. I gestured with the cigarette. Just needed a smoke. She smiled, linking her arm with mine. Did you forget what today is? I looked at her, my mind blank. She poked my forehead playfully, snuggling closer. It's your own birthday, and you forgot. I had, in fact, completely forgotten. The familiar scent of her jasmine perfume, a scent I once loved, now made my stomach churn. I gently slid my arm from her grasp. Sorry for worrying you. Ignoring my uncharacteristic distance, she just smiled. We've been married for years. Why be so polite? Let's go, it's time to cut the cake. As she pulled me back toward the party, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was 2 messages from Julian, accompanied by a provocative video. Do you know why the cruise ship is named this? Because I'm the real owner. Clara gave it to me, heard it's your birthday today. I'm going to give you a big surprise. It wasn't the first time he'd sent such things, and I knew it wouldn't be the last. I glanced at the screen for a moment before turning it off. Back at the party, a towering 9-layer cake stood like a miniature skyscraper, drawing gasps from the guests. As everyone waited for me to make a wish and blow out the candles, I noticed Clara seemed distracted. Her legs were crossed tightly, and a peculiar expression flickered across her face. Leo, wait, she said suddenly. I need to use the restroom. Before I could respond, she hurried away. 5 minutes later, she returned, looking composed. Sorry, I had to rush out. You go ahead and make a wish, she said, though she couldn't quite meet my eyes. I glanced down at her skirt, which was different from the one she had been wearing earlier, and simply nodded. I closed my eyes, made the one wish that consumed my thoughts, and blew out the candles. Clara smiled again. Darling, what did you wish for? I returned her smile, a mysterious edge to it. If I tell you, it won't come true." She had no idea my greatest wish was to be free of her forever. In front of everyone, Clara leaned in and kissed my cheek before taking a gift box from an assistant. "Look what I prepared for you. This watch was custom-made by an international master. It took an entire year to complete." When I opened the box, any last flickering ember of hope I might have harbored was extinguished. Clara saw the coldness in my expression and grew uneasy. "What's wrong? You don't like my gift?" I forced a smile. "Of course I like it." I finally understood what Julian had meant by a surprise. Nestled in the box with the watch were Clara's worn stockings and an adult toy, its sticky residue a sharp, painful affront to my eyes. It was indeed a surprise too big for me to handle. Later, when I returned to my room to rest, another message arrived from Julian. "What do you think? Satisfied with the surprise I arranged for you? You'd never imagine how the woman who says she loves you could be in private. Every meeting with her I'll share with you. Leo, you're a complete failure. Clara truly loves me." I turned off the screen and lit another cigarette, gazing at my hollow reflection. Tears streamed down my face, hot and silent. After a while, Clara entered the room. Seeing my red-rimmed eyes, she rushed to my side and hugged me tightly, her voice filled with fear. "What's wrong, darling? Are your eyes uncomfortable again?" Her concern was so convincing it was almost chilling. I looked at this woman who was at once so familiar and a complete stranger, a stark contrast to the person in Julian's videos. Yet, the faint blush on her face and the faint marks on her collarbone revealed she had just been with him. I couldn't fathom how she could move so seamlessly from an affair to a display of tender concern for me. A wave of exhaustion washed over me, and I rubbed my aching temples. "Nothing, I just need some rest." That night, a rare meteor shower painted streaks of light across the sky. Clara, as excited as a little girl, dragged me to the deck. She closed her eyes and made a wish on the shooting stars, her voice earnest. "I'm Clara, and I love Leo the most in my life. I want to have children with him and be the happiest bride. Tomorrow we'll pick out the wedding dress. I'm so excited and a little nervous." I watched her serious expression, my heart filled with a dull, throbbing pain. Her love for me felt undeniable, yet her betrayal was a thorn lodged deep in my heart, bleeding with every beat. Our love was like those meteors, brilliant, dazzling, and destined to burn out in an instant. The next day, as we headed to the bridal shop, Clara held my hand tightly in the car. Every time I subtly tried to pull away, her grip would tighten, as if she were afraid I would vanish. Sensing my low spirits, she tried to cheer me up with jokes she'd clearly found on the internet. This woman, usually so serious and composed, was reciting stiff, unfunny lines just to make me smile. And I did smile, a hollow, forced expression. She could have been the perfect wife. Despite her demanding job, she was always home by 8, would help me bathe, and we'd eat dinner and listen to music together. During the years I was blind, she developed a habit of reading to me before bed and would bring me a glass of hot milk without fail. I had once told her a reading app could do the job, but she insisted it wasn't the same, laughing that she wanted to be my eyes. Thinking of the past while listening to her awkward jokes, my mind was a chaotic mess. The driver glanced at us in the rearview mirror, smiling contentedly. "Ma'am, your love with the sir has been the same for 20 years. It's remarkable. Oh, the ring you asked me to fetch is in the storage compartment." Clara seemed suddenly nervous. "Are you sure you got the right one?" The driver nodded. "Yes, the receipt had your name." Relaxing, Clara retrieved a red box. "Darling, here's the latest ring I had custom made for you. I want to put it on you myself at our wedding. Check if it fits. I spent half a year designing this, a testament to our deep love." Her excited words and overflowing happiness made the entire situation feel surreal. I had little interest, but her eager stare compelled me to open the fancy box. As my eyes fell upon the engraving inside the band, my heart sank. A line of tiny letters felt like sharp needles pricking my vision. Clara and Julian forever. My fingers trembled as I held the ring. It felt heavy as my rapidly sinking heart. "What's wrong?" Clara noticed my blank stare and grew anxious. I shook my head and tried to put the ring on. "It seems a bit tight." "How is that possible?" she asked skeptically, taking the ring to inspect it. In that moment, her eyes filled with panic. She sneaked a peek at my face, and seeing my calm expression, she breathed a sigh of relief. "It must be the designer's mistake with the size. I'll have them redo it. There's still time." I nodded and turned to look out the window. The car fell into an uncomfortable silence. Just then, both our phones buzzed. We each checked our screens before quickly turning them off. Julian had sent me a photo of an identical ring on his own finger. "I'm sorry, but I threw your ring in the trash. My ring will now be the only one truly meant for Clara." He was trying to provoke me, but I felt no anger. In fact, I felt a strange sense of gratitude. At the bridal shop, Clara couldn't wait to try on her wedding dress. When she appeared before me in a flawless white gown, I felt a bit dazed, thrown back to a memory from college when she modeled for a bridal ad. That was the first time I had seen her in a wedding dress, a breathtaking moment I had never forgotten. I had spent years dreaming of her wearing one to marry me. Now that dream had curdled into pure disappointment. Noticing me lost in thought, she blushed. "Darling, do I look good?" I nodded, my mind elsewhere. My phone buzzed again. "Doesn't Clara look beautiful? But do you think if I beckoned her, she'd come running to me?" As if on cue, Clara glanced at her phone and then turned to an assistant. "Help my husband pick out some suits. Make sure they fit perfectly." Then she turned to me. "Darling, please be patient and try on the suits. I just need to use the restroom." I closed my eyes in despair and nodded, watching her hurry away. Could one man really make her so eager? I let the attendant fit suit after suit on me like a mindless mannequin. Another message arrived from Julian, this time a video. In it, Clara, still in her wedding dress, was beaming, kissing him passionately. The pure white gown, a symbol of love's purity, was now a costume for her infidelity. The sight of them felt like a hammer striking my heart over and over. The pain was unbearable. My vision suddenly went blurry, and the familiar darkness of my blind years flooded back. My eyes burned, and my legs buckled. If the attendant hadn't caught me, I would have collapsed. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked, panicked, as she saw tears tinged with blood streak down my face. Hearing the commotion, Clara rushed back in, looking worried. "Darling, what's wrong? Your eyes, they're bleeding." She was nearly in tears, frantically calling for every renowned doctor in the city. She always panicked when something was wrong with me, but this woman who had once cherished me was now the source of my deepest wound. I calmed myself and stopped her. "I'm fine. Just got too excited thinking about our wedding day." Her pale face finally regained some color. "You scared me to death. Are you done trying on the dress? I think this one's perfect." She looked down at the gown she was still wearing, the one from the video. "All right," she said, her voice soft. "As long as you like it. After we get married, we'll have a son and a daughter. When we're old, I'll do gardening with you and raise fish surrounded by grandchildren." She was dreaming of a future that no longer included me. There was no future for us anymore. The day before my departure, Director Evans sent me a message. "Leo, your application has been approved. Report to the secret location in 3 days. Attached is the agreement. Once you sign, your identity will be erased. I clicked the link and signed my name without hesitation. As long as it meant leaving Clara, no demand was too harsh. Our paths were now diverging. I was heading across the ocean while she would stay, perhaps to marry Julian. That final morning, Clara got up early to make me breakfast, a ritual she'd maintained for years. She kissed me awake, murmuring that she had an early meeting. She was wearing light makeup, her legs clad in thin stockings beneath a fitted skirt. I knew she was lying. Just before, Julian had messaged me. "It's my birthday today." Clara agreed to a few days away with me. She promised to wear different colored stockings every day. Plus, she told me it's her safe period. After she left, I went to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face, scrubbing my skin until the lingering scent of her perfume was gone. I tossed the breakfast she made into the trash. "Soon," she texted. "Darling, I have a 2-day business trip. Wait for me at home. I'll bring you a gift. Also, since we're getting married, let's not use protection. I want to have your child." It was exactly as I expected. Her absence gave me the time I needed. I packed a small bag, taking only a few changes of clothes and leaving behind everything she had ever bought me. I printed the divorce agreement and signed it, placing it in a gift box along with my old phone and the USB drive containing the edited videos Julian had sent. I then went out to the garden, the one I had planted so she would have different blooms to see year-round. And with a machete, I cut every single flower down. My love for her had withered, and they no longer had a reason to stay. As I was leaving, the maid, Wendy, saw my luggage. "Sir, you must be going on a honeymoon trip with Miss Clara, huh?" I glossed over her remark. "Wendy, tell Miss Clara there's a gift in the drawer for her to open on the wedding day." She smiled knowingly. "A little romantic gesture, I understand." I gave a vague smile and hailed a car. Just as I was getting in, Clara called on video. "What's up?" I answered. She was hesitant. "Nothing. I just miss you, darling. After we're married, I plan to dedicate my life to you." I could tell she had a sudden realization, a flicker of doubt. But it was too late. The car drove away. At the rendezvous point, Director Evans welcomed me with a hug. "Are you sure you don't want to tell your fiancé anything?" he asked, sensing my unnerving calm. I shook my head. "No need, it's all in the past." He looked at me with sympathy. "We conduct thorough background checks on all recruits. We know your fiancé has a close relationship with a man named Julian." The mention of his name brought back a flood of memories. I had hired Julian myself, taking a chance on him because he reminded me of a younger version of myself. After I went blind, Clara kept him close, and his arrogance grew. He resented me and schemed to trap her. He succeeded. She would drop everything for him, even slipping sleeping pills into my milk so she could bring him into our bedroom, thinking I was oblivious. The pain of those memories must have shown on my face because the director patted my shoulder. "All right, it's all in the past. We're setting off soon. Let's go explore the sea." His words rekindled my spirit. Paul was gone. My future was now as Kenji Tanaka. 5 years later, our research in the Arctic bore fruit. We had survived impossible conditions. Out of a team of 15, only 10 of us made it back. Having faced death, I had been reborn. On the plane home, I looked at a photo of myself. Cheekbones sharp, eyes clear. I was a different man. "Kenji," Director Evans said, his voice quiet. He'd lost both his legs in an accident during the expedition. "The country plans to award you a first-class Medal of Honor. From now on, you'll be the captain." As we got off the plane and gave a televised interview, a voice called out my old name. "Leo, is that you?" I ignored it and got into the car, but a hand shot out, stopping the door. It was Clara. She was a hollowed-out version of her former self. "I know it's you," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Don't you want me any more, husband?" I smiled slightly. "You've got the wrong person. Besides, I'm married." A woman appeared at my side, her hand sliding into mine. "Her name is Anya," I said. "Also a member of the expedition. This lady, please do not bother my husband." Security pulled a screaming Clara away. "No, he's my Leo!" she cried, tears streaming down her face. I showed no emotion as we drove away. "Don't leave me, Leo. I regret it. I know I was wrong." Her voice faded into the distance. Beside me, Anya squeezed my hand. "Any regrets?" she asked. I looked at her and smiled. "Yes. I regret not meeting you sooner." That day I received the nation's highest honor. Not long after, as I prepared for a new mission, I heard the news. Clara had tried to end her life. She survived, but had lost her mind. As for Julian, he had been sent to some isolated place, cut off from the world. I felt nothing, only the quiet ambition for the new future stretching out before me.